Welcome back. There is concern over growing vaccine hesitancy in the country. At one point, around 200,000 doses were being administered per day, but that number has dwindled significantly. eNCA's Monique Mortlock is visiting vaccine sites in Cape Town to find out why. She joins me now for an update. And Monique, this comes off the back of the Western Cape announcing that they would be opening one of the stadia, I think it's Athlone Stadium, that will become a mass vaccination site. So the approach seems to be to take the vaccine to the people rather than waiting for people to come through and get vaccinated. Is this informed by the fact that the numbers are dwindling even in the Western Cape?
Definitely, and something we heard from Western Cape health officials yesterday is that they are going to ramp up community activations and getting more community leaders, religious leaders to actually speak to the people on the ground, to encourage people to come to sites like this one at the Athlone Stadium, where it's another mega site, and they're hoping to vaccinate up to 4,000 people a day on a good day. Right now, the site has opened today, and already 219 people have been vaccinated so far. So it's slowly but surely picking up. But to chat to us more about the aims of the Western Cape Health Department, I'm speaking to the Health Department COO, Dr. Sadi Karim. Sir, if you can just give us a snapshot, how are things looking in the Western Cape when it comes to people who've received either at least one dose or fully vaccinated?
So that's quite important for us, because obviously the people who have received at least one dose would also be partially protected. At the moment, if we look at including our healthcare workers whom we vaccinated in phase 1 under eNCA, all those older than 18 and above, so far we've vaccinated 23% of the eligible population. So that's quite for us a sizable proportion. And if you look at those who have been fully vaccinated, at the moment that total standing on around 580,000 people. So that's really good signs for us. We obviously want to encourage people, more people to register and for more people to be vaccinated, and hence we've been talking to trusted voices in our communities and surrounding areas.
And I know that National Health, the National Health Ministry, they're in discussions this week to push forward that date of the 18 to 34-year-olds when they will be able to be vaccinated. Yesterday we heard Western Cape Premier Alan Winde, Cape Town Mayor Dan Plato also making that call for government to push forward that date to hopefully when the younger people come in, we'll see more of their families also being encouraged, more of their older parents, uncles, aunts also joining. Would you agree that that is what is needed?
Absolutely. I would strongly support that. We have, the whole country in fact has sufficient supply of vaccines at the moment. In the Western Cape certainly, and I know in many of the other provinces we have the vaccine sites. Many are like this site here, like these mass sites, and we have many other sites in the province. We have just over 200 sites in the province. So we have the vaccine supply, we have the sites, and we certainly have the ability to vaccinate everyone. So I think if there's an earlier call for the 18s and above to be vaccinated, then I would certainly strongly support that, and we would certainly welcome people to come to sites such as this Athlone site and all our other sites in the Western Cape.
And just a last question, I know that your department, along with community leaders, we saw earlier this morning in Mitchell's Plain, trying to get members of the 60 and up group, 50 and up group, those who are most susceptible to getting severe COVID, getting them to vaccinate. How have the numbers been looking in terms of, we started off strong, especially with the 35 and up group, and now the numbers have dwindled. How has it been looking for those vaccination registrations and people actually coming into the sites every day?
Yes, so we've been seeing that the registrations continuing to increase, but slowly. And in fact, the numbers pitching up at our vaccination sites have in fact been dwindling. So we really have been talking to our trusted community voices, religious leaders. We've been putting out social media, calling people to come to our vaccination sites. In just talking to the local community people just behind us here in Athlone, for example, people were quite afraid of registering because people don't understand the technology. And many of our sites, in fact, we want to encourage people, if you're not able to register on the EBDS system, come to our vaccination site, and our staff will in fact help people to register, particularly those who are 60 and above. I spoke this morning to a 60-year-old gentleman who was absolutely fearful initially when we saw him initially in the parking lot. He came through the site, our staff helped him, went out smiling, had his photo opportunity. It's really a feel-good story.
Thank you very much. That was Dr. Sadi Karim from the Western Cape Health Department, chatting to us there about and chatting to us about that fear, that vaccine hesitancy, which has been really slowing down the vaccine rollout, especially in communities like Mitchell's Plain, where only 26% of the eligible population is registered for the vaccine, and in Khayelitsha only 27%. So areas like these really needing to get that encouragement from community leaders, religious leaders, which government is heavily relying on to help their workers to encourage more people to come into sites like this one, the mega site here at the Athlone Stadium.
All right, for that, I've got to thank you, eNCA's Monique Mortlock out at the Athlone Stadium in Cape Town there, which is a mass vaccination site that the Western Cape authorities are hoping will be inundated with people coming through to get their jabs, what with the numbers seeming to slow down in a number of provinces, including Gauteng.